friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well today. So today I am on a little bit of a sewing mission because I am trying to make some more casual everyday tops for my wardrobe. I feel like I have made so many fun dresses recently and the tops are where I need a little bit of help. So that is what I'm planning to work on today. So one of my favorite shirts that I've made is this one that I'm wearing today. This is just a simple shirred top with these little puffy sleeves, and I really love wearing this one in the summer, so I'm going to make something along the same lines today. But if any of you guys have been following my channel for a while, you might remember these dresses that I made, I think 2 summers ago. And what I want to do is make this same shirt, but with these little shirred ruffly sleeves. This dress is a little bit wrinkled because I just took it out of the wash, but that is the plan for the shirt I'm going to make today. It will just be a shirred bodice, but with these little ruffly straps. And then the fabric I'm going to be using today is this one from Rifle Paper Company. This shirt that I'm wearing and this dress are all in their quilting cottons. I love their quilting cottons just for everyday comfy clothes. So this one is super pretty. I don't know if you guys can see very well, but it has these little pink roses on this blush background. And there's even a tiny little bit of gold in the print as well. So I think this is going to be so pretty for the spring and summer time. So I am going to get started on this. This should be a really simple project to make. So if you're looking to make something for yourself, I will include all of the details on how to take your measurements and everything in this video. And I think it will be a pretty quick project as well. So I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and get it cut out and get started sewing. So one of the great things about this project is that the only pieces I will need are 4 rectangles, one for the front, one for the back, and then 2 rectangles for the shoulder straps. Now I did find I still have a lot of this cute white cotton crochet lace, and I think I'm going to add a little bit of this to this project around the neckline and also on the straps. So we'll play around with that a little bit. I think it'll add a nice detail. But I'm just going to quickly go ahead and cut out all of my rectangles, and I also have my shirring elastic thread ready to go. So let's quickly go over the math to make the pattern for this project. So for the front and back width, you'll want to take your bust measurement and multiply that by 1.5. Then divide that number by 2 and add 1 inch for a 1/2 inch seam allowance on either side of that piece. So for my pattern, I took 34 inches multiplied by 1.5 divided by 2 plus 1 inch, and that equals 26.5 inches. So that will be the width of my front and back pieces. Now the length is really up to you. Just choose where you want your neckline to hit and then measure down the length that you would like your shirt to be and add seam allowance on either side. For the shoulder straps, you can really choose any width that you would like as long as it will fit in the width of your shirt, and then add seam allowance to either side of that width. And then for the length, measure over your shoulder from the point in the front and the back where you'd like the neckline to hit, multiply that number by 2 and then add a seam allowance. So for me, that was 8.5 times 2 plus 1, and that's a length of 18 inches. And then here's just a quick rough illustration of my pattern pieces. So I will cut 2 of the front and back and 2 of the straps, 4 rectangles in total. My front and back pieces are going to be 18 inches long and 26.5 inches wide. The shoulder straps will be 18 inches long and 7 inches wide. And of course, all of this math will work with centimeters as well. For my front and back pieces, my width is 26.5 inches and then my length is 18 inches. I just measured that from the top that I made previously. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure out and cut out my rectangles. Ooh, I think a storm is starting outside. Now, if you're impatient like me and you don't mind tearing your fabric, sometimes that goes a lot faster when you're working with just rectangular pieces like this. There are my front and back pieces, and now I just need to cut out the straps. So for my straps, I'm going to go with a width of 7 inches. This could really be whatever you want. Just make sure you're allowing for hemming on either side. This will give me a little bit of room to play with. And then I'm going with a length of 16 inches. I take that back. I'm going with a length of 18 inches. neighbor just started gardening and thunder started outside simultaneously. But I have all of the pieces cut out here so you can kind of see the general idea here. And I was working with 2 yards of my fabric, but I have a lot left over. I hadn't decided what I wanted to make out of this fabric when I purchased it. So I think I actually have enough here for an entire other shirt. So definitely a pretty easy one to get out of a little bit of fabric. So I might have to make one for one of my sisters or friends or someone. So the thing that I'm thinking I might do with this lace trim is just add it here along the top, and then the same idea on either side of the shoulder strap. So I will add that on, but the first thing that I'm going to do is just sew up the side seams of the shirt. This is basically like a tube, so it's pretty easy to do. And I allowed for 1/2 inch seam allowances. So I'm just going to place these together with the right sides together and sew that seam allowance. So that will be here and here. Then all I'll need to do before I start the shirring process is to hem the bottom and the top. And I'll go ahead and add this lace before I start shirring because that will be a lot easier. Oh, hey, I think that pattern matching is actually pretty decent because I forgot to pay attention, so that's a good thing. So I'm just pressing the side seams, and then I am going to go ahead and hem the shirt. So for the hems, I'm just going to press this over like a narrow hem around 1/4 inch twice for an approximately 1/2 inch hem. And now that I have my hem pressed on the top edge of the shirt, I'm going to go ahead and pin this crocheted lace behind it. That way when I sew this hem, everything will be secured at the same time. So here's a closer look at this. That lace is just pinned right to the edge. So when I sew my hem, I'm going to sew pretty close to the edge here just to make sure that everything is secured in place. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this now. Okay, I think that turned out so cute. I went ahead and sewed the lace onto the top just so I could see if I wanted to do it on both ends, but I think I'm just going to hem the other side. Okay, so the main base of the top is finished, and now it's time to start the fun part, which is the shirring. I love doing this. So the key thing that you need to do your shirring is some elastic thread, and this is the one that I really like. I believe this is the Dritz brand. I will link to some of this down below. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, I'm sure you've seen me go over this process, but just a quick review in case you're new. So now all I'm going to do is wind this elastic thread onto my bobbin by hand, And then when I go to sew on my sewing machine just with regular thread, it creates that stretchy fabric. So it's a really easy process. I would recommend testing sewing on your sewing machine with just some scrap fabric to make sure that the tension is right and everything. But it's a really fun process, and it creates such a nice, easy to fit way of creating clothes. So it's definitely a fun technique to learn. Now keep in mind, as you are sewing on your shirred part of your project, you may have to rewind the bobbin a few times. So just try and keep that in mind. I definitely usually go through at least 2 when I'm working on a shirred project. And as I'm winding this on, I'm not winding it on too tightly. I'm not like stretching on the thread. I am just winding it on kind of naturally. So now over here at my sewing machine, I'm just going to add the bobbin back into the machine the same way I normally would. And then I'm going to go ahead and set my stitch length to the longest setting for my machine. I like to have my tension pretty loose when I'm working with shirring elastic, so you can just experiment with that and see what works best for you. Now, where did I put my bobbin casing? There it is. Now I have this old-fashioned vintage bobbin casing, so I have to kind of stretch the thread to get it to go into place, but it works just fine. And once I put the bobbin back in, I'm going to make sure that my thread catches and pulls that elastic thread up. So now I'm ready to start sewing my rows of shirring, and I'm pretty comfortable with that on this machine. So I'm just going to go right into it without testing. We'll see if I live to regret this. And you could definitely mark where you want to put your shirring on your project. For me, I'm just going to use my presser foot to differentiate where each line goes. And I'm going to make sure to backstitch at the beginning and end of each seam so that the shirring stays secure. So let's see how it goes. So here's how it's looking after row number 1. It has a little bit of stretch, but it will just multiply the more rows I add. So I'm going to get comfortable and start adding more rows of shirring. So now I'm ready to work on making the straps, and this should be a pretty quick process. All I'm going to do is a double hem on either side of the long side of this rectangle, and I will go ahead and sew this lace behind that as well, just like I did on the main part of the shirt. And then I'm going to just use my serger on these shorter ends just to make sure nothing gets unraveled on the inside. And then all I have to do is add a few rows of shirring to create that ruffle effect. So I will concentrate that on one end so that the edge that goes over the shoulder is a little bit more voluminous. Here's what the shoulder strap looks like now that I have done the hem, added the lace, and then added 5 rows of shirring. But I'm going to use my iron just to steam over the top of this, which will help the shirring to shrink up even more. Okay, so now I have both of my shoulder straps finished. Here is what they look like with that shirring all gathered up. And then I also have the main part of the shirt. So I'm just going to add the straps to the shirt. And as I pin this in place, I'm going to make sure to kind of stretch the fabric out so that when I sew everything down, it's nice and flat and it will sit more smoothly as I wear the shirt. Okay, everything is pinned in place and I've just overlapped this by 1/2 inch, which is the seam allowance that I added to my calculations for the shoulder straps. So now I'm just going to go top stitch this down right over where I sewed this little hem on the edge of the shirt so that it's pretty well disguised. Alright, hey friends, so I just got back from a little trip to Trader Joe's and I wanted to show you this new top. So I've had it finished for a little while, but I'm only just now getting around to showing it to you, but I have been wearing this so much. It's so comfortable and easy to wear, and I feel like it just pairs really easily with jeans or shorts or whatever I might want to wear this summer. I absolutely love the lace detailing. I just think it is so sweet, and I love this fabric and color combination as well. So I'm really excited about how this project turned out, and I'm really looking forward to wearing it all summer long. And I could definitely see myself making this again in some different prints or fabrics because it is so comfortable and versatile. I had it paired with a little crochet cardigan the other day and I thought that looked really cute. So it's just a great piece and I'm already enjoying having it in my wardrobe. And I do think this fabric is one of my favorite Rifle Paper Company prints so far. It's just so sweet and adorable. So I'm really looking forward to wearing this all season long. Thank you guys so much for watching and spending your time here on my channel today. I'm going to go put my Trader Joe's flowers in some water and just get on with the rest of my day, but I really hope you enjoyed seeing how this project turned out. And if you make this same style, I would love to see your creations, so please tag me over on Instagram and I will have that all linked down below. But thank you again for spending your time here on my channel today, and I will talk to you in a new video very soon. Bye!